All right, today we're going to talk about input transducers. And I think the big thing is that they're just, if we just simplify it, they're microphones, okay? But there's two main type of microphones that we like to use in the studio, and there's one more that I don't actually have on me, and that's the ribbon mic. So we talk about the dynamic mic, which is a little bit more of a robust style mic, and then the condenser mic, which is definitely more sensitive and more studio friendly, and then the ribbon mic, which is definitely the most studio friendly of all, but it's oftentimes very fragile and a little bit difficult to work with. First, let's talk about the comparison between these two, and then let's talk about some specific mics. First of all, the dynamic mic is both live and studio, and the condenser mic can still be live, but it's mostly studio because of its parameters. Some of those parameters are give and take, so let's talk about a few of those. First of all, the dynamic mic uses a moving coil, and it doesn't require as much power, but because of that, it is less sensitive. So let's just define that. Sensitivity essentially is that element that means if you play loudly on it, it will distort. Okay, so if it's more sensitive, it'll pick up more things, but if you play loudly on it, it won't have a good sound. So if it's less sensitive, you can be loud as you want. This is a less sensitive mic, and it makes sense because it carries less power, and therefore, because it's less sensitive, it also has a higher max SPL, which means we can put way more sound into it, the highest max sound pressure level. The condenser, on the other hand, is far more sensitive. It picks up pretty much everything, but it has a much lower max SPL, and that means that we can't really get too loud on it. We can sing into it, but we can't necessarily put it right on a snare drum. We can use it as overheads for cymbals, but some things are a little too loud, so we have to find like the balance between those two. The ribbon mic is definitely the most sensitive of them all. It's obviously something that we use in the studio most exclusively, and we really don't take it out into the field because it's very fragile. The actual ribbon element is fragile, but more importantly, it has a warmer tone because of its design. Between these particular mics, this one has a little bit more of a clouded tone, but it's more focused, where this one has a more open tone, but that could also be bad if you're really trying to get a focused sound, so you have to do a little bit more in the post. So there's some pros and cons, but again, dynamic mic, condenser mic.